السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يا شباب let's continue with the motion questions. حاسس ان احنا بنحل في 208 و 209. طيب يا طول figure 1.1 shows the speed time graph for two falling balls in the crabber ball و plastic ball. طبعا from the graph the first thing you should notice is in it's a speed time graph. speed time the units very important دي meters per second و دي second. طيب make a quick description. دي طبعا constant what constant acceleration لانه اي حاجه في النص هنا بتقول زي acceleration لما نكون شغالين في speed time graph. So the rubber ball, this is a constant acceleration. This is from high to low. High to low is it increasing or decreasing? This is decreasing. So this thing has a decreasing acceleration for the plastic ball. So these are some quick analysis انت مفروض تعملها قبل ما تبدأ السؤال، يعني بتكون supposed to be in your fingertips. طيب بعدين you're told falling balls. طوالي the idea of free fall should come to your mind. The idea of free fall. falling objects اللي عملناه ده. طيب use the graph to find the average acceleration of the falling rubber ball during the first 3 seconds. هم عايزين acceleration حق دي. You know acceleration ممكن تشتغلها بالgradient ولا ممكن تشتغلها by reading v minus u over t from the graph. What's your final velocity? تمشي تقرأها after 3 seconds. After 3 seconds. Now you look at this value here. بتلقاه واقع بين two squares. If this would have been, if you are reading such a value from maybe a ruler أو مثلا تقرأ من protractor أو voltimeter, you're not allowed مثلا to read other than the small squares. يعني ما ممكن تقرأ السكوير في النص هنا ده في rulers وفي in rulers and in other devices. يا تقرأ لي هنا يا تقرأ لي هنا. دي في حالتنا دي حاسة is 28 and this is 29. But in a graph you are allowed to make small predictions. ممكن تقول 28.5 ما مشكلة، في الجراف ما في مشكلة. But in devices you are not allowed to do that. So عموما دي 28.5 for those who want to see that on دي. That's a 28.5. You can say الحاجة دي واقفة على 28.5. طيب so the final velocity is 28.5 minus 0, which is the initial velocity divided by the time taken for this is 3. So 28.5 minus 0 divided by 3. 28.5 minus 0 divided by 3, 9.5. So that's the acceleration, 9.5. Very important, the units meters per second squared acceleration. The distance fallen by the rubber ball in the first 3 seconds. At that speed time graph قلت لك جيب لي distance is area under the graph. is area under the graph. أقفله مع الإكس أكسس بس لحد 3 seconds. لو قفلته حيطلع لك شنو؟ حيطلع لك triangle. And then you find the area of this triangle. يعني they want. So it's a half multiplied by base multiplied by height. A half multiplied by the base which is 3 and the height which is 28.5. اشتغل ده. A half multiplied by the base multiplied by the height 28.5. 42.75. 42.75 meters. ما تعمل لي موضوع عن significant figures. اكتب الإجابة من الكالكوليتر زي ما هي. The terminal velocity of the plastic ball. Now the terminal velocity is a constant speed that is achieved by something that is falling. So the terminal velocity definitely is this. The constant speed this is what we call the terminal velocity. You go check that بتلقاه واقع في بين 10 و 20 which is 15 meters per second. So the terminal velocity is 15 meters per second. That was really easy. You're told both balls have the same mass. الاثنين عندهم نفس الماس. Assume مثلا let's say 2 kgs, but the volume of the plastic ball is much greater than the rubber ball. Now the moment we talk about volume, I can say volume and I can say size. هما بيتكلموا عن volume is basically just size. واحدة لو عاملة كده التانية كبيرة شديد. السؤال شنو؟ Explain in terms of the forces acting on the ball why the plastic ball reaches terminal velocity but the rubber ball does not. طيب دي الرابة هنا. This is the rubber. الصغيرة هي الرابة و this is the plastic. Now you know that موضوع terminal velocity لابد يكون فيه air resistance. يعني objects reach terminal velocity if there is a drag force زي air resistance or friction مثلا. يعني مثلا الطوبة الصغيرة لما تكون واقعة من فوق because of the small size air resistance ما حتكون عندها effect كبير. If a small object is falling and it has a very small size air resistance ما بتأثر شديد في حاجة زي دي. فبتقع ب a constant acceleration of gravity بس ولا بتكون acceleration حقها شوية أقل من gravity. المهم it's not affected by air resistance شديد. So we are going to explain that. So we say does not to say the air resistance changes with the size of object. The air resistance on the plastic is much greater than on the what? On the rubber. On the rubber one. عشان كده هيكون شنو؟ Then you continue explaining the normal stuff. After you make that comparison, you continue making the normal explanation. بتقول air resistance on the rubber or on the plastic, sorry now, on the plastic. لأنه هي في تأثير on the plastic increases until it is equal to what? Increases until it is equal to the weight. Air resistance on the plastic increases until it's equal to the weight. Yeah. You make an explanation in that line يعني. So the air resistance changes with the size of an object. The air resistance on the plastic is much greater than the rubber. You can add because it is much larger. Air resistance on the plastic increases until it is equal to weight. The rubber ball has a mass of 50 grams. Now لاحظ انه السؤال ما دايرك تشرح لهم الفولينج ذاته. هم عايزينك بس تشرح ليه دي بتصل terminal velocity وديك ما بتصل terminal velocity. As simple as that. So you just bring the idea of size. Basically they're checking if you know that the size of an object affects the air resistance on it. Air resistance is affected by either the size or the speed. في الاثنين if it increases then the air resistance increases. The rubber ball has a mass of 50 grams. Calculate the gravitational force acting on the rubber ball. Gravitational force acting on the rubber ball, I told you, is another way where they just they ask for what? Weight. Gravitational force acting on the rubber ball is just يعني calculate the weight. Weight equals mg. So weight equals the mass of this thing, which is 50 divided by 1,000. Remember, you have to change the mass to grams. Multiply by 10. So nas mental maths جيبوها, but for us هنا we only trust the calculator. Multiply by 10 ما في أي فرق. 0.5 newtons. As simple as that. So there you go.